So, what if I told you that some of the biggest questions you ask yourself, about life, your purpose, what happens next, were actually part of a conversation that's been going on for 3,000 years? Well, today we're diving straight into the history of Indian thought, and you might just find out you're already part of it.
Okay, let me ask you something. Do you believe deep down that what you do, the good stuff, the bad stuff, it all comes back to you somehow? That the choices you make today actually, tangibly create the life you're going to live tomorrow?
That feeling? That gut instinct that your actions have weight? Well, that's the heart of one of the most powerful ideas in Indian philosophy, karma. It's the simple but profound principle that our actions build our reality. All right, let's push it a bit. Have you ever had a weird moment of déjà vu, or just this unshakable feeling that this life isn't the whole story? That maybe, just maybe, your consciousness is on a much longer journey? And that thought? It plugs directly into another huge idea, reincarnation. This concept of a cycle of life, death, and rebirth, where our journey keeps going, way beyond just a single lifetime. See, this is the whole point. Whether we put a name to it or not, we are all wrestling with these massive philosophical questions. In a very real way, we're all philosophers, trying to figure out the same stuff that has fascinated thinkers for literally centuries. And these aren't just dusty, abstract theories from some old books. Nope, they are living, breathing ideas that shape how billions of people think about right and wrong, about destiny, and about the very fabric of existence. And we're about to see how they all connect to form this incredible system of thought. So let's get right to it and break down the 4 foundational pillars that this entire tradition is built on. If you get these 4 ideas, you've basically got the key to unlocking a 3,000-year-old conversation about the meaning of life. First up, as we talked about, is karma. Think of it as a universal law of cause and effect. It's not some cosmic judge handing out rewards and punishments. It's more like a natural principle, like gravity. Every single thing you do sends out a ripple, and sooner or later, that ripple finds its way back to you. Okay, so if the consequences of all our actions don't fully play out in this one life, where do they go? That's where reincarnation comes in. It's basically the engine for karma. The soul, or our consciousness, carries that karmic balance sheet from one life right into the next, and the cycle just keeps going. So if we're all stuck in this never-ending cycle of action and consequence, life after life, what does that actually feel like? Well, Indian philosophy makes a pretty stark observation here. The fundamental nature of this whole cycle is dukkha, which translates roughly to suffering. And listen to this. Even our happy moments are temporary, and they're always tinged with the fear of losing them, which, when you think about it, is its own kind of suffering. But here's where it gets really interesting. Indian philosophy doesn't just drop this huge problem on us and walk away. It proposes a solution. And the ultimate goal isn't just to have a better rebirth or get into a nicer heaven. No way. The real goal is moksha, total and complete liberation. It's about breaking the cycle of karma and reincarnation for good and ending dukkha once and for all. So there you have it. You've got the problem, suffering in an endless cycle, and you've got the solution, liberation. And pretty much the entire sprawling history of Indian thought is one gigantic, dynamic, and often fiery debate about these 4 ideas. It's a 3,000-year-long conversation, and believe me, it is still going on. So let's do a quick flyby of the history. The whole conversation really gets started around 1500 BCE, in the Vedic period. You've got these ancient sacred texts, the Vedas and the Upanishads, that lay down the basic groundwork. But then, around 600 BCE, things get really exciting. It's the age of challengers, this explosive time where new thinkers like the Buddha pop up and start questioning everything. That leads into the Sutra period, where all the different schools of thought start organizing their arguments, which brings us all the way to the modern era, where the conversation is still evolving. And right away, this huge conversation basically splits into 2 main teams. And the dividing line is super simple. Do you accept the authority of those original ancient texts, the Vedas? If your answer is yes, you're on team Astika, the orthodox schools. If you say no, or you want to challenge them, you're on team Nastika, the heterodox schools. That's it. That's the fundamental split. So on the Gnostica side, you've got the rebels, the challengers, you've got the Charvaka school, who were total materialists and rejected pretty much anything supernatural. And you also have Jainism and Buddhism, who accepted ideas like karma, but came up with their own totally unique paths to liberation. Then, over on the Astika side, you have the 6 orthodox schools.
They all built their ideas on the Vedas, creating these really complex systems of logic, like the Nyaya school, and really practical paths to liberation, like yoga.
So, how did this ancient, epic debate make its way into our modern world? Well, this isn't just ancient history we're talking about. The debate is very much alive and kicking, constantly adapting and responding to our world with fresh ideas and new interpretations. And this evolution happened in all sorts of ways. In the 19th century, you had figures like Swami Vivekananda, who championed something called Neo-Vedanta, connecting ancient philosophy to a modern sense of Indian identity. Then, in the 20th century, Dr. Ambedkar totally reimagined Buddhism for a new political era. And of course, you have thinkers like Krishnamurti and Osho who just blew the doors off, challenging all the traditional structures in their search for spiritual truth.
Okay, so after that whirlwind tour through 3,000 years of thought, what's the big takeaway here? Why does this ancient conversation still matter so much today, not just in India, but all over the world?
Well, let's nail it down. First, these are not some foreign, exotic concepts anymore. Ideas like karma are literally woven into how we think and talk about the world. Second, this huge, complex tradition is really just a 3,000-year-long debate about a few core human questions: action, rebirth, suffering, and freedom. And finally, and this is the most important part, this isn't a dead subject. It is a living, breathing tradition that is still evolving and still offering some pretty profound insights into what it means to be human.
And that leaves us with one last question to chew on. The ultimate goal of this entire tradition is moksha, liberation from suffering. So, what on earth could that possibly mean for us? Right here, right now, in the middle of our complicated, messy, modern lives. What does freedom really look like today?